Got it.
All right.
All
Hey, Ellie.
right.
Welcome to People Just
Hello.
Like You.
Thank you so
We're,
much, Gabe.
we're excited to have you today. People Just Like You is just a passion project where I've connected with people sometimes randomly over Twitter or Instagram, sometimes in person, a few friends, just to get a window into what other people's lives are like. It was inspired actually by Brandon Stanton, who does Humans of New York. And he was going around, switched from being a commodities trader, I think in Chicago, to New York, and decided, I'm just going to go take pictures of 10,000 New Yorkers and see what happens.
Cool.
And turned into an incredible blog. And the goal of People Just Like You is, just like the name explains, to like get a window into other people's lives and just see like the similarities between people and how people's thought processes are, and like just make little connections between people, and ideally even like break out of your filter bubbles. So listen to the story of someone that who's living an experience or a life that is kind of foreign or different to yours, or maybe similar, and be inspired. Overall, just inspiring from the lives of the other people. So yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready to answer some questions.
Perfect. Well, let's do it. I just got a few for you. So, Ellie, we met in a coffee shop in Oaxaca in Mexico, and it was pretty interesting talking. And I just wanted to bring the question back up of what were you doing down in Mexico? Can you share a little bit about where your life is these days?
Absolutely. So, like as a bigger picture, I normally used to live in UK, and my job was a nurse. And then I decided to take a completely different turnaround of my life. I decided to be a digital nomad. And then in January, I decided to, okay, I'm going to travel the world for a year, just literally working online, being free. And that was what brought me to Mexico, like my first country of my 1 year of traveling. So and then I met you, Gabe, on that cafe because I was like working. I was working, and then I saw you, and then we just like started chatting, and it was really, really good chat actually. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, like completely different lifestyle. Solo traveler, digital nomad, doing my own thing, meeting a lot of people, which is super, super, super great. And connecting with people like you and other people, and you've got like a range of so many ages. Like you meet people that are just doing gap years, or that they are also working online or doing other stuff, or just studying. People are just like traveling and studying at the same time. I was like, wow, like people are trying a lot of different lifestyles these days, which is super nice to see. Because if you stay only in one place, like for example, if I was in UK, I was surrounded by always the same people, and then we just kept going with our lives, and you really don't get the exposure to other people or adventures or other stuff. So even with the COVID, like lots of people said, do not go, don't go now, postpone it a year. No, definitely not. I'm not going to postpone it, because everything can happen. Like for example, with Russia in the war now, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. And I thought COVID already had 2 waves. No, I'm going to go. I'm definitely going to go and enjoy life. I'm not going to waste time.
Good for you. For you for just deciding to make a change. I think there's a lot of people out there over these last 2 years, and probably will be a lot more moving forward, that just reflect on their lives and really do make bold decisions that are better for them. I think that kind of winds into a question that many people probably will have, and hearing that you're on this trip. How did you do it? What did you do before, and how did you like make a transition in your living, kind of working situation that enabled you to do this?
So basically in UK, you are allowed to take like sabbatical years, which in my case, we call it a career break. So you have several options. I just decided to choose this one because you can just literally quit your job and then come back and then do another interview, and then that's it. It's super easy. But in my case, I was like, no, let me do a career break. And then after that point, when it was accepted, I decided, yes, I want to do 1 year career break, and I want to just focus on my work online. So basically, I help people how to start an online business. I teach them how to make money online, basically. So, and then they can do whatever they want, like whatever they most love. They can choose their time, whatever they want to do with it, which is super great. Is what enabled me. It was what inspired me, especially as well, like to just go for it and just do it. Just work online and travel at the same time, which is like it's a perfect combo. I mean, what else could you ask? You can just like literally be living your best life and working, which is amazing. So I thought, why not? And you know what? Let's just go and see how it goes. I'm not gonna let fear put me down. I'm just gonna be adventurous, brave, and go. And then initially I was gonna do it not solo traveling. I was gonna do it with a friend. But then she decided to make a choice and not come anymore. So there you go. Life just threw me another challenge. I was like, do it alone. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll do it alone then. Yeah.
Oh,
Which yeah, which
and it didn't
actually
stop there.
I've been realizing that I'm making even more connections with people and being more open to speak and interact and just do other stuff, because if you are tied to a person, I mean, you can be your best friend or whatever, but sometimes it doesn't allow you to just meet other people and then do different stuff. You will always fall into the same patterns, and this way I feel like, yeah, I'm just meeting a lot of different people and doing other stuff, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I definitely share that experience of when you're traveling with friends and people, it is very easy to just, hang out with them and kind of be a bit more closed off. When you're traveling alone, it can be scary to think about, I won't have anyone, but you go to hostels, you sit in coffee shops, you go in different places, and it's almost as if people kind of gravitate towards like being curious and asking about what's going on, what are you up to. It's a funny kind of thing that happens, but yeah, it's almost as if you like open up a bit more to being present and being there, and people unconsciously, almost subconsciously react to it and connect more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So the question, a lot of people just like you like to ask some like deeper questions that get at how you feel about different things and what's going on, kind of other areas of your life and what inspires you. And so what would you say is something that you think people really appreciate you after they get to know you and learn more about you and your style?
So that's a very interesting question. I was thinking about that. I think it's like the way I'm just like honest, and I like to connect with people, and I love to smile a lot. As you can see, I'm always smiling. So I think that helps a lot, like when you are like nice and you feel confident in your own skin, and you can just be yourself and be honest with people. So I think people appreciate that I try to be transparent like as much as I can and be my authentic self. That's why my name on Instagram is Authentic Ellie, because I thought, yeah, that really resonates with me. Like if I really feel a connection with someone, yeah, like you get everything from me. Like, so I that's what I think people most appreciate, like the honesty and being a nice person, I guess.
Yeah, and that also kind of, people can tell, like people can feel the, I don't know if you want to call it aura or kind of spirit or just overall vibe of people. And it definitely, I appreciate that about you, and having just met you through your coffee
Thank
shop.
you.
I think you do really come across as authentic and approachable and easy to get along with. And like it is amazing, like when you smile more, like there's that idea of if you actually just physically smile more, you'll be happier. And if you frown more or you don't smile, you won't be as happy. It's like something as simple as that can really make a difference in your own like mental state of mind. So smiling is the best thing. I'm with you in the smiling club.
It's the best. Yes. And then when you smile, it's contagious. Like I've tried, for example, if I'm just in a coffee shop, just looking at people going, if we make eye contact, if I smile, the people smile back. It like is super like a natural human connection. Like if I smile, I know people will smile back. So I love to do that. Just being nice and showing happiness to people instead of just being like that or just sad. No, just smile.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, along this happy and smiling line of thought, what would you say is like one of the happiest moments that you can remember in life?
That is a tough one for me because when I keep trying to remember what was like what made me really happy, I think I can go back a little bit to just before the COVID started, because even though I was in UK and then like all my friends were coming and going because there's always people immigrating or just choosing different lives or just moving city, whatever the reason was. And then I was not feeling that I had like a community or like a close group of friends. I just had like people that I could go for a coffee, but it was not like that really true connection. So going back in my memories, I think when I really connected with my best friends, like we are a group of six, that was one of the most happiest of my life because I thought, whoa, I found my people. When you get that sense of belonging, when you get that sense of, wow, they really get me, they understand me, we have a space we can share. It's like it's safe. You can just literally say anything and you won't be judged, or you will you will feel that you are understood. And we had like so many things in common. We are all nurses, by the way. So we are all
Nice.
nurses and we really connected a lot, and it was amazing because from that point that we really connected, we started doing so many things together, and that generated so many good memories. We have so many pictures, so many road trips, so many coffee. We drank a lot of coffee. They were like, let's go for a coffee, let's go for a walk.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. Like the moment that I really felt that I belonged, that we were a nice group of friends, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you, what are some of the ways that you like are try and are able to stay in touch with them? Like traveling around, it can be really difficult to maintain those
True.
relationships and friendships. Like,
Yeah.
how's it been for you?
So for us, we normally chat almost every day on WhatsApp. So we are pretty good with that. Yeah. We keep communicating and saying, oh, this happened or that happened, or look at this picture. And they also go a lot to my Instagram because I try and post on the story so they can keep a track on what I'm doing as well when we cannot. And for example, my birthday was on the 23rd of February, and then we all called, and that was so special because I could see like all the little videos on my phone, and I was like, ah, and they're there. Like it doesn't matter. Like one was in Australia, the other one was in UK, the other one was in Spain, the other one was in Belgium. So all different time zones, but we made it.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
And I was in Mexico, so it was like completely different. Yeah.
all times of day and night. But made it. Happy birthday, by the way,
Thank you.
a couple of weeks ago. But
Yeah.
that sounds like a testament to like the connection that y'all have. That you're still like finding ways to stay in touch and talking every day. WhatsApp. It's funny, like for many Americans, like WhatsApp isn't really a thing, but as soon as you step outside
Okay.
of the States, you're like, okay, everyone's on WhatsApp, and it's like an easy way to stay in touch for sure.
Yeah. What do you normally use in the States?
iMessage. It's funny when you're texting with people,
Ah, fine. Okay,
uh,
okay.
there's like they call it like the blue bubbles and the green bubbles. If you text someone and they have a green speech bubble that comes back, you're like, oh, you're not an iPhone, you're not an iMessage. And so
Yeah.
it's funny. Some people actually like really dislike texting with people that are not on iMessage, but that's a little like
Oh,
sheltered world.
sorry.
But WhatsApp is I actually prefer it more these days.
It's a great tool as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I got one last question for you that actually comes from another interviewee. And so this one comes from Deborah, who asked a little bit ago, how was lockdown like for you?
So for me, in my point of view, it was not that hard as I thought it would be, because being a nurse in the lockdown, I had more work than anybody else. It was completely the opposite. I had double, triple, quadruple the work, and I could see that everybody was like losing their jobs and not working or working from home, and I was like, whoa, this is so strange. Like I felt lucky in a way, because I could just go to work, leave home, do more or less like still a normal life kind of. So I didn't feel that that was a bad thing. Like the lockdown, it also made me realize that maybe we needed this pause in the world, like to think and rethink things and be like, okay, let me just see, what am I doing with my life? Am I really happy with this? Am I not? Or really give value to the things that you stopped having. You stopped being able to communicate with people face to face. We had to use masks all the time. You couldn't kiss, you couldn't hug, you couldn't do any of that. And when you are really missing something, or when are you denied of having that, you really start to give the value. Like you cannot take things for granted. Like you really should appreciate every day, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So it made me really realize that, to give even more value to the stuff. And the lockdown was kind of a blessing, because it brought my group of friends together. Like we were always there to support each other, did a lot of things together, and that was, I can say that was one of the best times for me. It was actually the opposite of most of like million people could say that, oh, it was so bad, I really suffered mentally. And actually, like I've met a few people that they are actually traveling now, because they suffered so much mentally because of the lockdowns and not being able to have a normal life, going outside or just doing whatever made them happy. Now they're struggling a lot. So I can see that the lockdown had a bad impact in a lot of people. But in me, it was actually the opposite. I really enjoyed it. It was like a pause, like a breathe in. It made me create a really, really good connection with my friends. And I really did some introspective thoughts, and like, yeah, the world maybe needed this.
Yeah. It's it makes you realize, or it sometimes can point to this idea of like, do we really know what's good or bad, or is everything just kind of a mix? Everything just is. Like there are awful events that can, like the COVID lockdowns, that can cause reflection and lead to like positive outcomes. Like even the loss of a loved one can be like the most heartbreaking thing that you can ever go through, but makes you realize that death is a part of life, and to kind of reflect, question, think about what's important to you. And even like amazing things ultimately come to an end, and they can leave you a bit of like craving or shocked when they do. And do we really know like what's good truly or bad, or is everything just an event, something more, that opens up into something more than what it appears at its face? That's great. That's great that I think that you were able to reflect, and it was a time of reflection for you, and that things came out of it, and that other friends as well that were really struggling and have now taken a change as well, and are traveling and happier. um, yeah, that's really exciting. And it's really cool as well that you like took advantage of this opportunity in the UK, this sabbatical year, and that you found, something that could carry you forward to nomadically work anywhere, and you're able to stay in touch with friends, and people that are really
Exactly.
important to you. So cool.
Yes. Thank you.
Nice. Well, Ellie, it's been a pleasure talking with you. Thank you so
You
much for
too.
doing an interview here.
No worries. My pleasure. All my pleasure.
Yeah.